Hello handy beaders, guess what we are going to make? Another bracelet. So let's talk about it. I took diagonal right angle weave stitch and applied it to make this Superduo beaded bracelet. Then I embellished it with little montees. This design is really nice and it's easy to make. So let's get started. I've decided to keep it simple, so I will leave all the information, especially information regarding the size of the beads and the length of your thread in the section below this video, so you can find it there. And I would like to show you just quick overview of what you will need. So you will need a ruler, scissors, some pliers. Then for findings you will need a clasp. I'm using this kind of clasp here, and I used magnetic clasp on this bracelet. It's up to you what kind of clasp you will choose to use. And then you will need 2 jumprings or these double rings. I'm not sure if these are called jumprings as well. Then you will need monofilament thread. I'm using 0.25 millimeter thick. Then 2 beading needles. I'm using size 12 beading needles. And for the beads you will need montees, then Matubo round seed beads, 7/0 is the size, and Superduo beads in matching color. So for exact number and amount of all these things you will need, just check the description box below this video. String a needle on each end of your thread and mark one end with nail polish or permanent marker. Take this end and pick 4 Superduo beads. Pull them down, and with the other needle go back through the same Superduo you have added last, just opposite direction. Then keep your needles together and pull all the beads all the way down, so they will end up in the middle of your thread. So now you have the white end tail in your right hand, and go up the same bead, just second hole, put it down, and take the red end tail with your needle and go through the same bead and the second hole the opposite direction. Now, with the red end tail of your thread in your right hand, pick 2 Superduo beads and pull them down. Then pick the white end tail and pick 1 Superduo and go through the last Superduo you have added on the other end of your thread in opposite direction. Pull your beads down and with the white end go up the same bead, the second hole, pick 3 Superduo beads and go again through the same hole you are now exiting out of. Go down the same bead, just second hole. And you want to end here. So take the same needle and go into the next bead in the circle and up the second hole of the same bead. Put your thread down and take the red end tail thread and go through the next bead in the circle, up the second hole of the same bead, and pick 3 Superduo beads, go into the same hole you are now exiting out of, down the same bead, just the other hole, into the next bead in the circle, always use your tools when you are stuck, or you can use the needle or go through the beads without any needle, it's up to you. So now we want to go into the next bead in the same circle, and up the next hole of the same bead. Now the red end tail, it's in your right hand, it's the bottom thread, so pick 3 beads there and pull them down. Take the other needle and go through the last bead you have added on the red end tail in opposite direction and pull it down. With the white end in your right hand, go up the same bead, the second hole, like this, and up the next bead. Put the needle down and take the other end of your thread with the red tail and go through the next hole of the same bead. Then add 2 Superduos, pull them down, take the other needle and go through the last Superduo you have added on that red end. The same hole, just opposite direction, and pull everything down. With the white end of your thread in your right hand, go up the second hole of the same bead, add 3 Superduos, go into the same hole you are now exiting out of, go down the second hole of the same bead, go through the next bead in the circle, and the second hole of the same bead. Leave this end there and pick that red end tail of your thread. Go through the next bead in the circle, and another one in that circle, and the last in that very same circle. Go up the second hole of the same bead, and pull everything tight. Now work your way through diagonal lines or rows until you have your basic strip done. When you have your basic strip, you would like to end it, so take this bottom thread and pick 3 Superduos, pull them down, and go through the same hole of the same bead, up the second hole of the same bead, into the next bead in the circle, and next bead in the same circle. And now leave your tail here, take the other end of your thread and go through the next bead in that circle, go up the second hole of the same bead and pick 1 multiple, go up the next bead and go down the second hole of the same bead. Continue in the next bead of that circle, the second hole of that same bead. You may put your needle down when it's not working, and do it just with your bare thread. And then the next bead in the same circle, another bead in the same circle, and now you are ready to add your montees. You have ended like this, so take the right tail of your thread and position your monte bead there, go straight into the hole through the monte on the other side, and take the other end of your thread and go in a 90 degrees angle through two holes of this monte. So now you can see what you are doing. You are crisscrossing that monte. So go up the nearest bead and the nearest hole, and with the second thread go up the nearest hole like this, pull it nice, and with this thread you want to go into the Superduo, then add a monte, go this way into a Superduo, another Superduo, add another monte, another Superduo, another Superduo, and so on. With the left end of your thread you want to go into the Superduo, into the monte, into another Superduo, and next hole Superduo, and into the monte again, and another Superduo, and Superduo next to it, monte, and so on until you are done, and then leave the last hole, central hole. So now you are done with your strip with montees. You can thread your needles again, it's up to you. And you want to pull it. Now you are exiting out of these two beads. So take one of these ends, the right one, and go up the same Superduo, just the other hole. The next Superduo in the circle, and the next one, and go up the next one in that circle, go up the second hole of the same Superduo, pick one Superduo, pull it down, go through the next hole of the same Superduo and the next Superduo, up the same Superduo, just the other hole, into next Superduo in that circle, up the same Superduo, just the other hole, and the next Superduo to it. Then pick 3 matubo, go, one Superduo, and go into the next Superduo. Now you are missing one matubo in the middle, so put it there and go through the next Superduo and the other hole of the same Superduo. go into the next bead of the same circle with or without a needle. Then into the next one, up the second hole of the same bead and into the closest bead, down the second hole of the same bead and into the next bead in that circle. Pick the other needle and go into the second hole of the same bead and the next bead and the next one in that same circle, next one, and up this bead, the second hole and another bead next to it, down the same bead, just the second hole and another bead, up in the second hole of the same bead and another bead next to it, and up in the same bead, just the second hole and into the next bead. Now into the 3 multiple beads, down the Superduos, 1 and 2, into the multiple, into another Superduo, down the same bead, just the other hole, into the next bead in the same circle, and closest bead to it, up the same bead, just the other hole, and the closest bead to it, down the same bead, just the other hole, down another bead in the same circle, and now just boom, and now you want to go into your monte. This one is here and this thread is here. You want to go into the hole and exit out of the next hole, the hole which is on the neighbor's side of that hole you are going into. And now take the other end of your thread and tie a square knot here. Pull it really nicely and go up the monte like this. You're going into one hole and exiting out of the opposite hole of the monte. Pull it nice so you will hide the knot into the monte like this, and take the other end of your thread and go into the hole, into the closest hole, and into the next hole or hole next to it, like these are parallel, or these are neighbors hole, and pull it. Now you can hide the ends of your thread into the beads, and do this exact same thing on the other side. Just be aware you have one matubo already there. When you are done with these endings, pick your findings, jump ring or double ring, open it, and go through the top matubo. Now you can add a clasp here, or you can add it later. Do the same thing on the other side, and now you are done with your beautiful Superduo Montee bracelet. I hope you liked this tutorial, and I'm looking forward to see you again. Bye bye.